Across 9 days, we've watched a star run out of room to support itself, its core violently collapsing inward past a precise mass limit. We've seen a planet cook its atmosphere past the point of recovery and watched coral reefs flip into a state they can't grow back from. We've tracked a river crossing that triggered automatic treason, a bank collapsing within hours, the absolute physiological wall every endurance runner hits, a calculated aircraft speed with no way back, a definition of death completely redrawn, and a genetic edit passed automatically to every generation that follows. 9 points of no return. But as we close this series, one question remains. Out of all these absolute boundaries, can anything actually be built to catch a decision before it becomes irreversible? The honest answer starts by drawing a hard line. A star's mass limit or a planet's atmospheric ceiling are absolute laws of physics. They don't take instructions. No institution can build a safety net to catch a white dwarf before it crosses 1.4 solar masses. But the Imperium boundary of the Rubicon, the V1 takeoff speed, and banking liquidity limits were built by people. They are institutional constructions created to manage real risk. Because humans defined these boundaries in the first place, they represent the only category where we can actually build in a deliberate margin for reconsideration. Financial circuit breakers were introduced in the United States after the October 1987 market crash. The design was straightforward. If a market index dropped by a certain point value, trading would automatically halt, creating a mechanical pause so participants could reassess instead of continuing to panic sell. That system faced a severe test on May 6, 2010. During what became known as the flash crash, high-speed automated trading drove the market down nearly 1,000 points in a matter of minutes. This chart shows exactly how that drop bypassed the circuit breakers completely. The rigid point-based thresholds mismatched the algorithmic crash. That failure forced regulators to redesign the framework, switching to dynamic, percentage-based thresholds tied to the S&P 500. The financial safety net operating today isn't an untested ideal. It exists because the earlier version slept right through a real crisis. Nuclear reactors carry an even more immediate reconsideration tool. It's called a SCRAM, an emergency shutdown system designed to rapidly insert control rods and immediately halt a fission chain reaction. When the magnitude 9.0 Tohoku earthquake struck in March 2011, seismic sensors at the Fukushima Daiichi plant triggered automatic SCRAMs within roughly 400 milliseconds. In the strictest sense, the system worked exactly as engineered. The control rods dropped into place, and the primary nuclear chain reaction genuinely completely stopped within a minute. Even after the primary reaction stops, radioactive byproducts continue to generate decay heat. This secondary glowing signature requires constant external cooling, but the subsequent tsunami destroyed the backup diesel generators, cutting that required power, causing the separate cascading failure that led to the meltdown. The emergency shutdown stopped the exact reaction it was built to stop, but a safety mechanism can do exactly what it's designed to do, completely successfully, and a disaster can still follow from the collapse of a completely separate system. Over the past 10 episodes, we've traced a single idea across wildly different scales. Day 141, the precise mass limit of a collapsing star. Day 142, Venus's runaway greenhouse effect. Day 143, the biological feedback loop locking a coral reef into hysteresis. Day 144, the Roman legal boundary of the Rubicon. Day 145, the liquidity limits of bank runs. Day 146, the physiological wall every endurance runner hits. Day 147, the calculated aviation V1 takeoff speed. Day 148, the medical redefinition of death in 1968. Day 149, the permanent biology of CRISPR germline editing. And today, Day 150, the demonstrably imperfect systems we build to catch these decisions before they are finalized. What we found is a clear divide. Nature's thresholds are immovable walls that take absolutely no input from the human studying them. The lines we engineer ourselves aren't inherently safer, and as we saw in 2010 and 2011, the safety nets we build around them carry their own blind spots. But unlike a collapsing star or a boiling planet, humans possess the ability to deliberately build a margin for error. We can study that margin when it fails, and we can choose to rebuild it better. That's 10 days, 10 thresholds, and 9 kinds of no return. Tomorrow, a new arc begins, the invention of us. 10 days on how language, belief, art, and law were built, one first at a time. Starting with a mystery science still hasn't solved, where the first word actually came from. See you then.
Thank you for sharing this moment of pure wonder. You are the true magic that fuels this journey. Until next time, remember to shine bright.